What's up, everyone? Drunken Phoenix here. Welcome back. So today I'm going to react to people talking about how they got into massive debt. So let's go ahead and get started with this first lady who is $62,000 in debt.
26, I am taking more accountability over the fact that I am in a lot of debt. So these are the reasons why I'm in $62,000 of debt. One is I always tell myself that other people can afford it, so I should be able to afford it too. Two is I use credit cards for convenience and then I forget to pay them off right away. And three is I don't track my spending, so I have literally no idea where my money goes. But I am done making excuses and I'm using the Ditch app to actually.
Okay, so yeah, so that's, the three things that she listed are, very for sure ways of how to get into massive debt. Not tracking your spending, forgetting to make your credit card payments, as well as, it's not a good philosophy to say that if other people can afford it, that means I can. That's only if you also have other people's salary. So yeah, this stuff is really self-explanatory, but it's just very, very simple. She got into debt because she was just, not thinking. But yeah, so I guess that's something we can learn.
This is how I got into $40,000 of debt with nothing to show for it. It starts out with me and my cousin going to college. We were low-key social media influencers back then. We thought we was finna make this shit out. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. We were going to a private school that charged 15 to 20K per semester. So we ended up paying that bitch and failed. Like bad. Like I had a .7 GPA. After I came back home, my parents gave me 6 months to prove myself. And I obviously couldn't do that. So then I had to go back to school for another year. Community college, 5 to 7K down the drain again. And once again, I failed. And I told my parents, yeah, I'm done. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not doing this shit no more. This is when I actually started to grind for real because I really had nothing left. So then I got a job. I was only literally working and then trying to work on my business, which was Amazon at the time. So now I'm doing Amazon with my cousin for like a year and a half. We started making bread for real. I ain't gonna lie. We started touching dough. We decided to move out to a penthouse that's $5,000 a month. I'm not sure how we even got accepted to this shit because we weren't even getting money like that at the time. Like we was, but we wasn't touching money for that long for us to have a good credit report and shit like that. Once we somehow got accepted, we got in that bitch, which is what I'm in right now. I just started splurging on some random shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I was low-key swiping my credit card and shit.
Okay, so before as he continues, I want to mention something really important. I think this is something that a lot of people need to hear, especially, people going into college. Have a good plan on what you want to study. And I know when you're like a freshman, you're not always so sure, but really do your research on what are reasonable and feasible majors and what is realistic and what's something that not only is practical, but something that you can see yourself doing. Because college can be very, very expensive and you don't want to be in that situation where you're failing classes or you keep changing your major or you just don't know, because that is a way to rack up a whole bunch of debt. Especially if you go to a private school, like a private university, didn't he say that he paid like $20,000 a semester? You're really going to need a plan. And also, young people, when you make a little bit of money, I guess he was doing good on his Amazon business. Even if you're making good money, that doesn't mean you have to splurge on the nicest penthouse or condo or buy all kind of stuff. Clearly, I'm hoping he learned from his mistake. I guess that's why he's making this reflective video. But yeah, people, just don't live above your means. Just continue to make your money, grind, and save your money and, invest it. But don't just splurge on crazy stuff
like that. So now we already at like what, 20 something. So now like just keep it a buck, bro. I couldn't afford it. After 3-4 months, I couldn't afford it. Then I started doing Uber Eats every single day. I couldn't even afford it throughout the whole month. Even though I started getting on credit. My credit score was at 730 or 740 something. Then it dropped all the way down to damn near I think we're at like 400 something, bro. If y'all don't know, I'm a risk taker. And now it's been a whole entire year, bro. I've swiped my credit card. I ain't gonna lie, I'm at 40,000, or I might even have more owed, but like I'm at 40 something thousand dollars owed, bro. And my business failed because my Amazon business got shut down.
Okay, so I think a big thing that should be mentioned here is, and this is something that I realize a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people don't have this, but they don't utilize it, but is having foresight. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to buy something, like if you're going to buy an apartment or something, or some, fancy housing, you should be honest with yourself and think, will I be able to afford this for the next year or whatever the term the lease is for? Like this guy said he wasn't able to afford it like once month 3 or 4 hit, he didn't have money for it. It is like, well, did you not see that coming? Like, was that not something you thought of? Like saying, this is 5,000 a month. Is our business always going to make this amount of money? Can we sustain this? Are we going a little bit above our means? So having foresight is key. And I think most people do. I think they instinctively know things, but they just try to, I think it's something that their brain does where they just try to compartmentalize or just try to distract themselves from it by saying, well, they have wishful thinking of thinking that, oh, well, our business will continue to be good, we'll continue to expand it, and not really being realistic.
I know a lot of people wonder how someone gets into $30,000 worth of credit card debt at the age of 25. I will say that for myself, I got married at 20 years old, and from 20 to 25, I basically carelessly spent my money. I never budgeted my paychecks. Every time I tried, I never stayed consistent with it. So I never really knew where my money was going, what I was spending it on, and I never budgeted for anything. So now I'm in the situation that I'm in. I racked up a lot of credit card debt because I spent more than I could actually afford to pay back. And so now I'm deciding to take action and doing something about it, because I could very well be beating myself up every day, living under stress, and just everything that comes with knowing that you owe so much money back to your creditors.
So with her, I think that's a common thing that a lot of people do, is not budgeting and not, keeping up with their spending. Because I think so many times, I think this is like an avoidant behavior that a lot of people exhibit, where they just, they see something, they want to buy it, they want to get this, they want to get that, and they don't like to feel constrained, because it may, you would have to confront that uncomfortable question of, can I afford this? And that can be kind of frightening sometimes, because you really want to do something or you want to buy something, and you just kind of lose track of your spending, and you're scared to even look at your bank account to see how much you spent. So I can understand that. I've been there, done that, and it's just really important to be good at budgeting and just keeping tabs of what you're spending and not overdoing it.
You want to see what $60,000 worth of debt looks like? Hi, I'm Christy, and I overshare about my debt so you can feel better about yours. This is my U.S. Bank credit card, and I have $2,396.08. This is a Citi credit card, and I owe $9,012.20. This is Chase Sapphire. I used to use this card for the travel benefits. Obviously, that's not what's happening anymore. I owe $6,427. This is my Columbia Bank credit card. I owe.
Okay, so this is an interesting case. This is a really new one. This lady seems to have or had a bad habit of just opening credit cards. And yeah, it can be tempting to open a credit card, I guess, because you can spend money, just pay it later. And a lot of these credit card companies, they try to promote things by saying, oh, if you spend this much, you get this reward, you can do this, do that. But technically yes, but it's just a way you'll save more money by not even getting it and not spending at all.
$4,121.31. This is my Mountain America credit card. I owe $9,143.85. This is my car loan. I owe $12,348.33. And the best one of all, this is a personal loan. I owe $16,799.47. Always remember to be kind, especially to yourself.
My name's Matt, and I used to be in loads of debt, and it's actually a really sad reason why. Cut a long story short, my cat, Mr. Cheddar, suddenly fell ill. Monday he was fine. By Friday we had to put him to sleep, and it was the hardest, most awful thing that me and my missus ever had to do. I'm literally getting sad talking about it. I miss him so much. Anyway, insurance didn't pay out, so after, all the surgeries trying to save him, we got left with like 3-4 grand in debt. We used money here for elsewhere, we fell behind on things, credit cards, a slippery slope, and worst of all, we lost our little boy, which was the hardest thing ever. But every cloud has a silver lining, and since then I have massively improved my financial situation. I've learned to save, I've learned to invest, and I've learned to just be good with money. So I thought I'd start a page just to kind of talk about my experience.
Okay, so I want you guys to be honest in the comment section, okay? if you had a pet, and no judgment here, whether you say yes or no, if you have a pet and they needed like a surgery, and let's say it costs like $5,000-$6,000 to do this surgery, and you are, you're the average American, that $5,000 or $6,000 is not necessarily just, you don't have that just readily available for a surgery for a pet. Would you still go through with the surgery? Because I found this to be an interesting topic, but just because I don't think it's any right or wrong answer, because I can see people that want to save their pets. It's like, yeah, I want to save my pet. That's pets are family. But I know other people are like, well, I mean, I want to save him, but I don't have this money for it. And he's not a human, and I'll probably still be paying this debt off after he passes. So, it's no right or wrong answer. This was actually a experience that I guess my parents have went through at one point when I was, when I was under 18. We had a dog, and the dog was having back issues, and we were thinking the vet was telling us that there's a potential he would need a surgery. And the way my parents were thinking about it, they were like, do we buy the surgery or what? Like, what do we do? Luckily, he seemed to have just, kind of healed himself, or maybe it just went away. But that's a really serious question. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's no right or wrong answer to that, just given, I can see the arguments on both sides. But that would be a horrible way to get in debt, because the whole situation sucks. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.